Welcome, everyone. Welcome to the Total Truth Show. And here on the Total Truth Show, we want to help you break free from the lies and propaganda of the mainstream media, all the disinformation and misinformation. We want to help you blast through all of that. And my name is Ken Kleinberg, coming to you all the way from the USA, San Diego, California.
And I'm Aldwyn Altuney, known as the Media Queen from the Gold Coast in Australia.
There is a great awakening happening in the world right now, and you're going to want to come along for the ride.
A lot of lies are coming to the surface. There's a lot of awakening happening, and as this awakening is happening, people realize they've been deceived for years. They've been lied to for years around all sorts of things. A lot of people have been blind to what has been going on in the world, and now they're starting to see. They're starting to see things in a different light.
Through our show, we want to raise global consciousness to quantum critical mass. And we don't want you just to accept the things that we're saying. That goes for our guests as well. We want you to do the research for yourself. Get out there and start questioning things. Start looking things up. Do the research. We want to pave the way for a new awakened world. And we want you to come along for the ride. So with that, let's get started, you guys. Let's dive into today's episode. Once again, welcome.
Welcome, welcome, welcome. Total Truth Show, episode 140.
Woohoo!
Very, very cool. And a hot topic today. We are going to be chatting about the truth about rewiring your brain with music. What a fantastic topic and an amazing special guest we had with us today. I'm sure you're going to absolutely love this episode. Of course, my co-host, Ken Kleinberg. How are you today, Ken?
Doing absolutely amazing.
Brilliant, brilliant. And now to introduce our special guest, all the way from Texas in the US, we have Courtney Schawl with us. She is a coach, author, entrepreneur, and former music therapist on a mission to help people renew their minds, uncover their unique gifts, and step into their God-given purpose. As the founder of One Day Songwriter and the Golden Ratio Guild, she teaches somatic speed songwriting, a research-backed approach designed to heal us from life's hardships, just how King David did while writing the Psalms. In her books, Exercise for the Soul and You Are the Sum of Your Last Two Moves, she combines neuroscience, creativity, and the principles of the Fibonacci sequence to help people get unstuck, collapse timelines, and accelerate meaningful transformation. Welcome to the show, Courtney.
Thank you. I'm so glad to be here. I'm excited to have this conversation.
Well, I am too. You know, it's so interesting that this is the topic today because, you know, I share my space with my ex-boyfriend. Now, interestingly, my ex-boyfriend often gets very negative. Like he gets depressed sometimes, it gets very down. And this morning I thought I'm going to lift the energy and play some Boney M. Play some disco, play like Rasputin and, you know, some really cool disco songs from the 70s. And it was so interesting because we were dancing around the house. We were singing all the disco songs. Like it immediately shifted the mood to play some really cool disco music. So it's amazing how you can not just, I guess, rewire your brain, but actually have such a great experience of life when you put on some really cool music. That was experience literally today, this morning. I was dancing around to some very funky music and I didn't care what anyone thought. I was just having a great time dancing around the house. So why is music so important for you, Courtney? What's your background with this?
Yeah, well, I was in foster care when I was little. And so I was very fortunate to get adopted by my grandparents pretty quick. So I was only in it from like 0 to 2. And in my childhood, there was just a lot of traumatic things, you could say, but it was very normalized in my family that I really didn't think anything of it. So I started teaching myself songwriting at the age of 11. I taught myself piano, and it just kind of came instinctual to me. And as I became an adult going into therapy, I would get the same look from my therapist, and they would go like, I don't know why you're normal. Like, I'm looking for something wrong with you. And I started connecting the dots. And that's like literally what they said. Like, I'm not like, that's actually, I had one say that to me. And it was at the college one, and she was a younger one. But it really comes down to that music is the original design for healing. And I was healing myself throughout my childhood so that I didn't get to the pressure point where many would have gotten into a serious addiction. And the stuff that I've gone through, I should have had gone to jail too, like my dad. Like, I should have had these things happen, but I turned out differently because I had a coping skill. And I just think so many people don't have music as a coping skill anymore. And that's why we have this epidemic of depression, anxiety, addiction.
Yes, well, I've certainly had my bouts of depression in the past and anxiety. And, you know, I've talked openly about my ADHD, and I know Ken has ADHD as well. And there's a lot of entrepreneurs and creatives out there with ADHD. And of course, depression and anxiety are two of the, you know, negatives of ADHD. We can have our real highs and then our real lows and lows. And so it's being able to navigate the highs and lows, whether you're ADHD or neurodivergent or not. Life is really, really challenging at the moment. You know, we're on the precipice of potentially World War III. I mean, you know, some people are saying, well, we're already in World War III, actually, psychologically and physically and in many ways. However, there's so much in the world we can't control. Like in Australia, the government here, you know, the fuel prices went up with everything that's going on in Iran at the moment, with you know, America and, you know, all of that stuff, what's going on in the Middle East, with the Strait of Hormuz and whatever. So our fuel prices here have gone through the roof. It went from about $1.60 a litre Australian up to about $2 a litre, or $2.20 a litre even. And then the government brought in a 30-cent tax cut, which basically they were taxing the fuel. They brought it in for a few months, and now they've taken it away again. So now the petrol prices have jumped straight back up again. So there's a whole lot of people in this scarcity mode, because of course when fuel goes up, all your groceries go up, everything goes up, right? And of course the taxes keep going up. So it's kind of like you will own nothing and be happy. That's the whole agenda here. Right?
2030. Yeah. We're getting
Exactly. 2030. We're getting closer and closer to 2030. We're only 4 years away from 2030. You will own nothing and be happy. We've got 6G about to be rolled out. We have in Australia, they're saying, oh, there's now a bird flu. There's now some new bird flu that apparently that, you know, is just like the next COVID they're trying to roll out. And no one's buying it. People are not buying it, but the government are not listening, and they're just going ahead and railroading people anyway with all of this. So you know, it leaves people, all this kind of stuff leaves people in a full-on state of anxiety and a feeling of hopelessness and helplessness to, you know, to be able to shift what's going on in the world. As much as we keep speaking up about it, you know, like they're just shooting horses from helicopters. They're doing it in America, right? We did some shows here about the Brumbies and our wild horses. Government is shooting them from helicopters, and same with our koalas. Our koalas are critically endangered, and the government has been shooting them from helicopters. It's like, what the hell? These people are complete psychopaths. So while all this is happening, how can we live our most empowered life? And of course, music is like the savage beast. Music, well, soothes the savage beast, right? There's actually a song there, music soothes the savage beast. I remember hearing that lyrics in a song a while ago. And, you know, we certainly have a lot of beasts out there. and sometimes the beasts are inside us, right?
Yeah, and that's why they want to control our music too, because they know the power of it. And yeah, I completely agree. It's unfortunate too, because on an industry side, like so many people feel untalented. And even before we started the show, you even said, I play badly and sing badly. And it's like we're indoctrinated to believe that if we're not like the next pop star, that we're not a good singer or a good player, when we're just all meant to make music. And I mean, the studies are incredible. Like there's one study that came out just last year, 75% of people after writing one song and recording it no longer had anxiety, and they met criteria for it. So they took an assessment, and then after writing one song, they didn't have it anymore. And 6 months later, they checked them and still didn't have it, which is, it's like, why are we not talking about this? You know, we just want to medicate.
Oh, yes. So true. And we need to watch our language, don't we? Because I said, oh, yeah, I play ukulele really badly and sing really badly. And it's interesting because last night I was at a wake. I was at a beautiful friend of mine, Anthony Brannigan. He's a flute player and he performed at quite a few of our Animal Action Days over the years. And he was a huge party boy, you know, big drinker, big smoker, fantastic personality. He had hair, he had crazy, wild, curly hair like mine, and just a fantastic personality. And unfortunately, very sadly, he passed away at 65 years of age of cancer. Too young. A third of people die by 65. And I was at his wake last night, and there was a beautiful lady, Nicole Parker Brown, who's performed at quite a few of our Animal Action events as well. And she's got the most gorgeous voice. And she just spontaneously was singing, like that Valerie song came on, you know, Valerie. You know, that Valerie song. So that song came on. She was singing it so beautifully and whatever. And then I started singing kind of backup. I was like getting into it, singing a bit of backup while she was doing her thing, just in a casual bar setting. We weren't on stage or anything. We were just singing out in the crowd. And someone else turned to me and said, oh, you're a singer too. And I was like, oh no, you know, I sing really badly. So, you know, it's like watching the words that we say to ourselves, because other people have heard me sing and think, wow, you're amazing. But of course, I'm comparing myself to the amazing, you know, professional singers that do this all the time.
Well, even if you weren't, you know, like you're still allowed. You have permission.
Yes. And you can sing badly. I mean, you say, I sing badly and I have fun. Or I don't care what you think of my singing tone or you know, like, I don't care what you think. I'm going to sing anyways. I'm singing in the shower. No one ever says to anyone singing in the shower, you're singing really badly right now, right?
Maybe a sibling when they're young or something. But yeah. You're like, stop singing. No, it really is that way though, because it's like, we feel like we're so far into the performative side that we forget that all of human history, we all collectively sing. We're all supposed to, even I go to church, half the people are not singing when we're all supposed to be singing because they are so scared to use their voice. And that's what's going to heal us is singing. And so you're so right. Like, I'm so happy to hear that you just like fearlessly sang. That's beautiful.
Yeah, well, I sing all the time. I mean, I just, it's funny because we sound different to ourselves, I think, in our own head than we actually come across.
Yeah,
sometimes.
That's true.
And then some people say, oh, I'm tone deaf. I mean, is anyone really tone deaf? I don't know about this. What do you think?
That actually there is. I think it's like 2 to 4% of the population, but here's the thing. If you sing your own song, are you really tone deaf? Because you can make up your own tone, you know? But you know, people don't like to hear that. But really, most people, it can be trained. It's just like most people would not expect you to be really good at playing guitar or piano, but we expect that it's like you either got it or you don't with singing, and that's like so far from the truth. Like I went to school for music, and voice was my main instrument, and I was practicing all the time. So yeah, my voice is going to sound better because I was in the practice rooms at 3 a.m. because our finals required us to like hit all the notes correctly, you know? But there's even professional singers, they're constantly doing vocal exercises. They're constantly getting coached all the time.
And what about you, Ken? Do you sing in the shower?
Not so much. It's been a while since I've created music, though. I've been kind of thinking about it a lot lately and just going, you know, I really need to make the time and space for that because I used to write stuff all the time. I have a guitar, and I've been kind of missing it lately. And I used to play around with harmonies and different things like that for my vocals. And and so I've been kind of thinking about that lately, especially with you know, the journey that I'm currently on with changing my mindset around certain things, money mindset and all kinds of different things like that. And I'm going, you know, what would it look like, you know, to return back to that? And because I had a guitar teacher for the longest time, and I had him not because I needed to learn how to play guitar, but I had him because originally, I think I had him for like 20 years. And originally when I hired him, I was stuck in a pattern of my guitar playing and I couldn't get out of it. Like the same chords, the same strumming pattern, the same thing over and over again. And I couldn't, you know, figure out. So I got introduced to this guitar teacher. Well, I ended up keeping him for like 20 years, and he finally retired. And when he retired, one of the things that I fear and I knew was going to happen with me is I kind of ended up dropping my guitar playing. And then my business took over and life took over and other things took over. And so, you know, it's been a nudge on my heart to kind of find a way to get back to it, even if it's just like 20, 30 minutes a week, just getting back to it and playing around with songwriting, singing and harmonies and stuff, because I really do miss it. So, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. And Courtney, how musical are you as far as like, what, do you play instruments as well, or what do you?
Yeah, I play piano. I was self-taught and then got lessons. And obviously in college, like I had to learn all the instruments. Played clarinet, saxophone, played guitar, all the shebang, you know. Primarily like in the psych hospitals, the most portable instrument was guitar. So I did a lot of like guitar playing in the psych hospital.
Uh-huh. Okay, amazing. Well, I played keyboard and piano actually for 3 years when I was younger as well, and I absolutely loved it. And I've got a keyboard here, but it's just, you know, making the time for it. And I got a ukulele a few years ago, and I play about 10 songs on the ukulele.
Nice.
And you know, songs like Boney M and Clementine, which I used to sing those songs with my parents, and my mum's now in a nursing home. And I have taken my ukulele into the nursing home, and I've had a little sing along with my parents. And actually a good friend of mine and a client actually in our mass media mastery program, Alfred Zerfus, who has been on some of our events before. He's been on Total Truth Show before. He's 90 years of age now, and he does something called Sing with Fred, and he talks about dementia prevention. By having music, it actually helps with dementia. And I love that. And at 90 years of age, Fred is always singing and always joyful. He said he's got about 6 chronic conditions. I was just literally talking to him last night. He's got about 6 different chronic health conditions, and he said he's like a ticking time bomb. And he's on 90 years of age. He's a former doctor, traveled all over the world. He does a million different courses, constantly doing personal development. He's an extraordinary man, you know, and people like him, it's just so inspiring, you know, and he uses music all the time. And I think partly why he's 90 and ticking along is because he brings so much joy into his life and into other people's life. And of course, music is a fantastic way to bring joy or to bring peace, or at the same time, it can also really bring your energy down depending on the type of music you listen to. Like when I was growing up as I kind of went through this punk hippie. I didn't know what I was. All I knew is I didn't fit in the mainstream when I was growing up. And I used to listen to punk music. I used to listen to gothic music. I used to listen to, you know, all this like the Doors and the Janis Joplin and all the old, like all that stuff as well. The Cure, the Cramps, Buzzcocks, you know, all these kind of bands. There was a band called the Hard-Ons, actually. The Hard-Ons. I know, and they had a song called Suck Swallow. But anyway, we won't go there. It was some pretty out there music, right? And yeah, I know some pretty out there stuff. And I don't know how I got into all that. But at the time, I was quite an angry person because I was watching a lot of negative news growing up. I thought the world was stuffed. I thought the people are cruel. I thought, why do I even want to be here? And so I used to listen to all this angry music. And in some way that kind of helped me feel like I wasn't alone because there were other angry people out there. You know, and so it's really interesting to notice, you know, does the music you listen to bring you up or does it bring you down? Now, lately, I got a little diffuser next to me, and these diffusers nowadays, you can put some essential oils in them. And the diffusers nowadays that we get here, I don't know about America, but you can play music. There's like little settings that you can play music on the diffuser. And it's actually right here. I might actually just show you this little diffuser. Here's my diffuser, and it's got little push buttons here at the front. Oops, the water's dripping out, dripping all over me. That's the little buttons here. I'll try and keep it straight. And you basically just fill it up with water in here. You put your little water in there, and you put some drops of oil, and then you can play some music, and you can play. Yeah, you've got all sorts of different things you can play. You probably won't be able to hear it through here, but one of the settings on here is bird sounds, like rainforest bird sounds. And there's another really relaxing, sort of soothing setting. Then they've got another sound on here, which is a heartbeat, which is really interesting. And then there's another one that's sort of static sound. But I find the relaxing one, which is like meditation music, or the one that has the bird sounds, I find it fantastic. And then it's got different light settings. You can, I think I've actually turned it off at the wall, but this actually lights up in different lights as well. So you can have, like, it goes through orange, red, blue, etc., all the different lights. So it's a really funky little thing. And they're not expensive, and they're a great way to just bring some peace into your environment. You know, I don't recommend drop the water all over yourself, but anyway, that can always and that can always be sorted out. You know, let's not get too precious about these things. But, you know, some nice relaxing background music is brilliant, I find. So what sort of music do you like, Courtney?
You know, I like all types. I think I base it off of my mood too. And I think there's like a balance where, you know, when you are depressed or you're feeling in your feels, it's good to have a song that makes you feel those feels and get it out. And then I also think that there's a good in listening to good music, because I mean, people do program you through music. And so I primarily listen to like Christian music, not necessarily like the radio Christian music, but more so like alternative Christian people, I guess you could say, that are half known, you know, that are talking about real things. Like, you know, in the Psalms, King David wasn't shy to like talk about his pain, but at the end of the song, or in the song, there was still that underlying message of hope. And so that's kind of what I look for in artists, is like, you know, can we wallow in whatever it is, because life's hard, and then can we also like bring it back to God? So that's what I kind of look for in music. I also listen to a ton of secular music too. So I mean, I'm not just saying I only listen to some, but I am more careful now than I used to be, for sure. Just knowing what I know from the industry and stuff.
I don't like a lot of the R&B, the rap, and a lot of the synth music that's out there nowadays. Yeah. We have a bike path that's right outside our backyard. It's like on the other side of the fence, and sometimes the people riding their bikes by, they've got their little boom boxes, and they're riding by, and there's like this crappy rap music or whatever it is. I forget the genre name of it, but the music is playing, and I swear every time they come by, I'm just like, that is not music. That is not even music. How can you listen to that? Right? So, yeah.
Yeah, I call it like doof doof. I say, like, there's the doof doof, the doof doof doof, you know, that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, it's really unsettling. It's like, that's going really against my heartbeat. And this is where reggae is fantastic, because reggae goes with heartbeat. Yeah,
no, it's true. And it's it's all preference. And I think it's more just like knowing, like, you know, what artist aligns with what your beliefs are, I think is just so big. Like that, you know, that 6'7" trend that was going around, like from that one song, like all these kids in America are doing this thing called like 6'7".
Yes, I did hear about that.
And it's from a song, and everyone thinks it's innocent, and it's like a Santeria, like you're invoking the Santeria gods. And so there's so many people that have talked about this, and it's not like it's just for fun. Like, he did a house tour and showed his worship statues of him worshiping these gods. So it's like, they call people crazy conspiracy theorists, and it's like, he's literally showing you his house tour with the gods. So why would you think he's not talking about them in this song? So right. Yeah, I think it's hard, because you have to be careful. I mean, my 3-year-old came home literally saying that, and I was like, oh, whoa, because he heard it at, like, I take them to the gym daycare, and so it's like a mixed age groups, you know. And he overheard it, and he doesn't know, he's 3, you know, but he's 4 now, but when he was 3, it's crazy. But yeah, I really think it's that. And then there's an element of listening to music as a music therapist. Like, I got board certified, and I worked as one, and recorded music virtually has like very little benefits in terms of like the therapeutic part. So really the therapeutic part comes in, the actual playing music. And that's where like the neuroplasticity happens. That's why especially, I love that you brought up the dementia part, because my grandma, she was a wonderful pianist, and she didn't know who I was, but she could play like the Flight of the Bumblebee on the piano, and like people don't realize that you're accessing a completely different part of your brain when you're playing music, and those neural pathways. It's why he's 90 and kicking it, because like so many have a musical practice behind the scenes, keeping their brain activated. It's the only thing that activates all parts of our brain. There's nothing else that does it like music.
It's true. It's true. One other thing I wanted to mention, though, it was, I think it was like a couple months ago. So we have this one UPS guy that commonly, comes around and delivers packages. There's like a couple of them, but there's this one guy that I know that I see a lot. And I remember one day he pulls up in our apartment parking lot, and inside his truck, he's got this like really old school, like I'm talking about like from the 40s and 50s, like the real old school stuff. He's got like the old Hollywood Broadway musical stuff playing in his UPS truck. And it was just so refreshing to me. I actually made a comment to him. I'm just like, what is that? And he explained it to me, and I'm just like, nobody listens to that stuff anymore. That is just so awesome that you blast it in your truck like that. Yeah. And it was just refreshing, because it just, to me, and especially with all the crappier music that's out there today, it just sounded so refreshing to hear those old school Broadway stuff. I mean, it's never really kind of been my genre, but I don't know. So now when he pulls up and I hear that music, I'm just like, it's just so nice, because that actually is real music, So anyhow, I don't know why I shared that, but I just wanted to share that.
No, anyhow. I love that. Well, and it's like, it's refreshing to hear different genres. I think we have pigeonholed ourselves into like, these are the genres. And it's like, no, like we're all so different. And that's why it's hard for me to say what music I listen to, because it's eclectic. It's like, it's refreshing to hear music from every type of background, every type of person. And the messaging behind it is really what matters. So I love that.
I love like the deep, some of my favorite music was from people like Nina Simone, that deep, there's that sort of, the black blues, is it okay to say black nowadays? African American, early 1900s blues, Mississippi blues type. I love that kind of music. There's a song called St. James Infirmary, which I play on my ukulele, and I just love that. I love that deep, dark blues kind of music, and I love that as a release of some deep emotions. And then I love things like disco, like Boney M. I love Boney M. In fact, I know Boney M's cousin, Jerry Hemer, actually is a friend of mine and someone I've done some PR work for here in Australia, actually, interestingly, who lives on the Gold Coast. Boney M have come to Australia quite a few times, and they've got so many cool songs, and just that whole disco era is so joyful. It's so, there's so much soul. It's also got the soul and the fun element. I think, fun music, it just immediately lifts your energy. And then at the same time, I like things like jazz, and I like, I love stuff like Jamiroquai, all sorts of stuff. So many great musicians out there. So many, oh gosh, I could go on and on and on. Valerie is interesting. That song's in my head because we were singing last night. Valerie, that's just such a beautiful, beautiful song as well. So really noticing, does the music you listen to, does it bring you up, or does it bring you down? Do you feel good after listening to that music, or do you feel bad? And I was an entertainment reporter for many, many years as a journalist in TV, radio, print. So I used to come across all sorts of different performers. I used to go to a lot of live music. Back in the 90s, when I did my media degree, there was bands like Skunk Hour and Dig, Directions in Groove, and Skunk Hour was like Skunk Hour's an amazing band that actually mixed rap, and it was actually really cool rap. It was like rap with rhythm, and then Dig had some really cool music as well. Directions in Groove, if you look them up, you can find it on YouTube, all this kind of stuff. And then things like the Smiths I used to get into. I used to love the Smiths when I was growing up. Billy Bragg from England, and just so many amazing performers out there. And we're very blessed actually to have such a great variety of music. But one form of music that I absolutely hated, and that was thrash metal. Thrash metal.
I don't like metal.
Into thrash metal. It always sounded to me like rah, rah, rah. You can't hear what they're saying. It just sounded like seriously. It just did my head in. I noticed whenever thrash metal came on any radio station, I just had to immediately turn it off because it upset my nervous system so much.
That's me with screamo music, the hardcore stuff. Yeah, that's me. And don't get me wrong, there are some, you know what, the hardcore stuff, like, they actually have a really cool ministry in the Christian world. Like, I've picked up some from back in the day, some CDs of some really like hardcore bands, the screamo stuff, where they're like, rah, 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 all that kind of stuff. Yeah, they literally sound like demons. But
yeah,
here's the thing with the Christian ones, their lyrics are so freaking crazy deep and just like right on there. So that's one thing that I'll speak to with Christian hardcore bands. Their lyrics, a lot of them are like really spot on. Like they're like in your face, like they're unapologetically sharing the gospel in their music and everything. So, I mean, good for them, and I love the fact that they have that kind of ministry and they're attracting those kind of people. But I'm like, your guitars and your instruments, they sound great, and your songs sound great until you open your mouth.
Yeah.
Those are tough for me. It's funny because my husband really liked when we were, he's kind of changed his music style a little bit, but he really liked that hardcore music, especially for working out. I could not stand that music. But that ministry, like you're talking about, because Christians were creating that music, it was perfect for someone like my husband who like didn't want to be listening to Satanists say crazy stuff, but wanted that tone that ministry is doing, which I think is so beautiful. Yeah, because I don't like it, I don't get it, but to each their own with their music.
Our pastor at our church, he loves listening to that stuff, and I'm just like, oh my gosh. But whatever.
Yeah, here's an interesting bit of trivia an interesting story from my past that I just like to share that's just come to mind, based on a band called Machine Gun Fellatio. So as the entertainment reporter at the Sun newspapers, we're going back now, this is between the years 2000 and 2005. And it was coming towards the end of my full-time career because I was burning out doing that job. It was full on being a journalist for the local newspaper. And this was a community newspaper called Sun Newspapers. So I was the entertainment reporter. We did CD reviews. Back then, the CD reviews, right? This is how far back we go. Were you even alive back then, Courtney? You seem very young.
It was 95, probably not.
Okay, yeah. Well, yeah. Oh, no, this is now 2000.
Okay, then I was like in kindergarten, yeah.
There you go. So you were in kindergarten and I was a reporter at the local newspaper here on the Gold Coast in Australia. And I wrote a story about Machine Gun Fellatio, who were a really cool kind of edgy sort of semi-punk rhythm. Like, it's a bit hard to explain, but they were a very theatrical band. Like, they had one of their singers would strip on stage and do all these. They had all these big props and like strip, not like in a strip bar, but she just did some really cool stuff. Like, it was just really out there kind of music. And one of their songs was called Mother Effer on a Motorcycle. Now, Mother Effer on a Motorcycle, Mother Effer, now I'm saying Effer now to not say the full word, but in the newspaper when I was sharing about the band, I said some of their favorite songs are Mother Effer on a Motorcycle. Now, the Mother Effer word came out in full. In the newspaper, and all these calls started to come in from people in the community saying, you've put this word in your newspaper, this is a community newspaper, and some people got really offended by it. So my editor called me into the office one day and he said, we've had so much backlash from this article that you've done. And I said, And you said, why did you put that word in there? I said, well, that's the name of this song, so anyway, it was really interesting, the backlash we got on that. So I thought, okay, from now on, we've obviously got to put the hashtags and all the special characters or whatever, not to spell the full word, because some people get so offended.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah.
By certain words. So yes, but it's a great band as well. Check out Machine Gun Fellatio. They're not together anymore, but they had this one song called it was My Ex-Girlfriend Boyfriend's Got a Band. My ex-girlfriend boyfriend's got a band. And it was this really cool song. Anyway, great band. Check them out. Very, very unusual kind of music. And there's another band called Morphine. They had a great song called Cure for Pain. That was really good. So many great bands coming back to me. So much great music. Now, let's go to the topic here about rewiring your brain with music. So what are some ways we can do this, Courtney?
Yeah, so one of the ways is somatic songwriting or somatic speed songwriting. And what you do is you pick a moment and you process it with your 5 senses, similar to grounding. You then write down what you thought and felt, and then you turn it into lyrics. I teach people the non-music theory way. So this is for non-musicians. So 6 to 12 syllables per line. And then I make it even easier for an access point. And I know this is a kind of a hot topic, but I teach people how to turn that into an AI song. So if they don't feel comfortable singing it, or they, for a lot of people, they've just never had access. So they're not going to even consider trying to play it on a piano. And so I give them that option to use AI or simple chord patterns for them to sing their song. And what happens then, you record the song, you listen to it over and over again. It's the exposure therapy. And as you listen to it over and over, that is where you release it until the emotion is no longer in you. It's externalized. And so you get to see that painful memory or that whatever event outside of you. And that's where a lot of the healing happens. And then you take it a step further of once you have, this is more on like the PTSD side, but once you have gotten to neutral in those songs, then instead of demolishing all those memories, you rebuild and renew your mind with positive memories and do the same process, but with what you are looking for your future or a new story about that memory. So it's kind of two-sided. That's why I teach an exercise for the soul. But I think a lot of people try to skip to the positivity, not realizing that you can't stuff positivity in somebody who has a lot of demolishing to do. Like, you have to break down the walls. You got to take out the mold in the house. And you can only do that through sound. Like, trauma comes out of the body through sound and movement, and music allows you to do both. So that's kind of where the rewiring comes. And it's all backed by research. I have all the research in my book, but that's kind of like the steps of it. And it's available to anybody. It's free.
Amazing. And we're going to have a little demonstration here, aren't we, on the show today? We are.
Yeah.
Yay. Awesome. Yeah. That is very cool. So how do we do this, Courtney? What are we going to do?
Yeah. So for the sake of it, I'll write it all down for you. Okay. Since Ken and I had done this on his podcast, we're going to pick
It's Aldwyn's turn. Right.
Yeah, it's Aldwyn's turn. So I'm going to write down everything, and then we'll just kind of walk through it. I always teach people that it's 5 minutes on each thing. And so it takes 15 minutes to write a song, and then AI takes 2 seconds to make the song. So whatever memory, I always tell people, like, what memory, and for anyone listening, you can do this along with it. What is a memory that sticks in your brain on replay? And when I say that, like, if the memory is comfortable for you sharing, but is there a memory that kind of you constantly think about?
A happy memory or a not so happy memory?
This is a public show, so it can be whatever you want. I'm not gonna make you a trauma dump on here. But it can be happy, it can be sad. It's whatever you want.
A memory that comes to me. Okay. Because immediately I went to the sheep incident, but that's a very heavy memory from when I was 6 years of age.
Are you okay?
It's sort of got a bit of a Christian thing to it as well, actually. But yeah, this could be very therapeutic for me. So I'm going to go back to my very first traumatic memory when I was 6 years of age, and I was in Turkey with my parents. My parents migrated from Turkey to Australia, in 1970, and after 10 years they went back to Turkey for the first time. I was a 6-year-old with a sheep at my grandma's place, and I loved this sheep. I was so excited. One day we're taking the sheep for a walk, and before I knew it, 3 guys came and grabbed the sheep and cut the sheep's throat in front of me. It was for me at the time that I lost my innocence in that moment, and I cried and ran away from everybody and sat on the side of the road and bawled my eyes out until I could cry no more, and then eventually came back to the group, and everyone had these blood crosses on their foreheads, which was in the Bible. The blood crosses were to protect from evil, etc. And this was based on the story of Job, what actually happened here. This sheep was an offering to my family from my uncle. And what they used to do is they'd sacrifice a sheep when family would come from a long way away as a sign of prosperity, and they would feed the meat to the poor village people in the area. So it was actually a very noble kind of thing. And it was based on the story of Job in the Bible, where Job wanted to sacrifice his son for God, and God said, no, sacrifice a sheep. And interestingly, what's gone on since then, ever since I was a young child, I hated animal cruelty. I was very upset by any kind of animal cruelty. And I then, many years later, did a lot of work on myself. And in 2007, I started the world's first Animal Action Day. And that was around awareness, appreciation, and respect for all animals. And we've now run 20 annual events for animals and raised money for different causes. And this year is actually, well, I said this is our 20th annual event. We're actually going to do a retreat to Dili in Indonesia. And we're going to be swimming with whales in October. And we're going to be inviting people to come on the journey with us. So I now look back at that sheep as a sacrifice for the work I've done for animals now. Literally there are, millions of sheep get killed every day across the world, and no one even blinks an eye. But this particular sheep I connected on an emotional level. That was my friend, the sheep that got killed, and I was only 6 years of age. So even if that story got explained to me as a 6-year-old, I wouldn't have understood, and I just would have wanted to save the sheep. Right. So it's kind of like a bit of a bittersweet story, because at the time it was absolutely traumatic. And it was so traumatic, in fact, that I blocked the memory out for 30 years. And it was only when I was doing a program, which was called Landmark Education, that I realized this trauma had been blocked out of my past. And from that moment, I made it mean that I can't trust anyone, all men are bastards, all these things that I made it mean I wasn't good enough because I couldn't save the sheep. There were so many things that I made that situation mean at the time. And I do believe now, I believe everything happens for us, not to us. And I think that experience happened for me as a trigger, as a sign from God, perhaps, that this was my path. This was part of my journey, my purpose on the planet, to help inspire more kindness, compassion for animals.
Well, thank you so much for sharing that. I know that I would be traumatized too. I've never heard of somebody doing that. I mean, it's probably a cultural thing, because I've never heard that. So yeah. So we're gonna walk through that memory. Basically, I'm going to have you tell me now, for somebody who's doing this, they would write down what they saw, smelt, taste, touched, heard. So we'll just start with the first one. I know we talked a little bit about it, but we'll just kind of ramble off, like bring yourself back into that memory, and I'll write for you, but just start naming off all the things you saw. And it could be like, I saw the 3 men. So that's like one of the things. You saw 3 men, you saw the blood crosses. I know we got kind of some of them already, but from your own stance, bring yourself into that memory, and what are you seeing around yourself?
Okay, so the memory initially was, it was a beautiful sunny day. The grass was green. The family were all having a great time together. There was probably about 10 of our family members, cousins and, different family members, all having a great time together. I'm walking with the sheep. I've got my arm around the sheep. I can feel its beautiful, soft wool on the sheep, and I'm walking with the sheep. And at one point, someone actually put me onto the back of the sheep, and I was actually riding the sheep. I was like holding on and riding the sheep at one point, and then I was walking next to the sheep, and I had my arm next to it. And that's when the three guys that were double my size at least. I mean, I was only a little girl in a little white dress, and they just literally grabbed. They just put the sheep onto the ground. Two of them grabbed the feet, one of them grabbed it by the head, and they just dragged it onto this concrete block, pull out a big knife, and the sheep was squealing and crying, and they cut its throat in front of me, and the blood went everywhere and it squealed, and I watched the sheep die in front of me and then just ran. I just had to get out. I ran as far as I could and cried my eyes out. That's what I remember from that situation. And eventually, as it was coming dark, like at the end of the day, they'd already skinned the sheep. They were eating the sheep. The sheep was turned into kebabs by this stage. And I came back and everyone had these blood crosses on their forehead. And then they put a blood cross on me too. I remember a blood cross. As soon as I came back, they put a blood cross on me. So it was a very symbolic sacrifice for the animal cruelty that I've been standing up against all these years, and for the, I'm really grateful now, as I say, for that sheep. I'm grateful that happened, because I don't think that I would be, quite as passionate about helping animals now if that hadn't happened.
Yeah. Okay. And I'm just writing stuff down. So I think you gave me a lot in the 5 senses. Is there anything that we did hear? You did talk about what you heard. Were there any other noises that you heard during that?
I squealed my head. The sheep was squealing. I think I was squealing. It was like I connected with the sheep, and it was like I was being sacrificed on that it was like an altar. It was like I was being sacrificed on that concrete block with the sheep. I felt that I died with the sheep. So it was like the sacrifice. It was like a sacrifice, the sacrificial lamb even. But it wasn't a lamb. It was a sheep. It was a big sheep, but it's like kind of like a symbolic sacrificial lamb. I felt like I was the lamb being sacrificed with that sheep. And the senses were, from a beautiful day, a beautiful sunny day out with the family with lots of joy, it turned to horror.
Yeah. Okay. And then you already told me a little bit about what you touched, and we talked
my
a little
dad
bit
held me back. By the way, my dad held me back because I wanted to run to help save the sheep. My dad held me back. I couldn't move. He held me back, so I could not get to the sheep to save the sheep. Hence what I realized later is that I made it mean that I'm not good enough because I couldn't help save the sheep. I'm not enough. Not good enough, not enough, because I couldn't save the sheep. So now I'm feeling crap about myself. I have no trust in my family. I hate the world, right? And obviously all men are bastards, because there was that did it, right? So of course here I am at 52, never married, no kids. Okay, I'm still working through my stuff. Although I do love my life now, I must say, and I do think everything happens for us, not to us. So I'm not the victim of that circumstance. It was actually something that came from the Greek Orthodox tradition, because we were actually Christians. My parents were Christians in a Muslim country. And the way they cut the sheep, that's a Muslim tradition. Even though it was a Christian thing. It happened a lot in Turkey. That's because the Muslims believe in draining the blood from the animal. So what they do is they cut the throat and then they turn the sheep upside down. They skin it, and all the blood drains. And that's why often halal meat, if you ever have halal meat, is very dry, because the blood's drained from the meat.
Oh wow, yeah, I didn't know that. Okay,
yeah,
interesting.
So you told me a little bit, but I'm just gonna have you. After you kind of work through the 5 senses, which we just did, we'll go into like the feeling and thoughts. So you told me that you hate the world, all men are bastards. It was your fault, and not what you feel now about it, but like in that moment, what were you feeling and thinking then? And if there's anything else that you want to add.
I hate you. I remember I hate you. I hate you. I remember this hatred of society, this hatred for what happened. Like I was so upset and so angry, and I did not want to be there. I remember wanting to kill myself. I remember not wanting to be on the planet at that moment.
Very, very, very raw feelings, in other words. Yeah.
Yeah, there was this, it was from joy to, well, I don't know it was hate, but it was like, it's interesting because I did a book last year called Fear to Freedom. And I talk about it in this book, Fear to Freedom. I went from fear. Nowadays, I feel free around it, although I do still, at times, as you can see, sometimes I still get emotional when I really put myself back there. I guess there's a part of me that's sad for that little girl that was so sad,
Yeah.
There's a part of me that's really sad for how that affected me for the next 30 years of my life, how shut down I was emotionally with it.
Courtney, I think you should include almost like a picture of Aldwyn today standing and seeing that little girl of, if you will, yesterday. So kind of like, I don't know how to explain it, but something I think that would be powerful to add in there. I don't know. You do your thing, but that's kind of like the thought just entered my mind is,
Let's do it. I think that would be good. So what I have for the first line, we'll start writing it. I like that you mentioned the little white dress. So I think our first line should be little white dress, little white. Was the sheep white? Or I don't know.
It was white. The sheep was white.
Okay.
So that's a picture of innocence.
Yeah,
wow, that's actually
sheep.
powerful.
And peace. Actually, peace as well.
Yeah.
Sunny day. Feeling peace. That will be our second line.
Green grass. I remember a field of green grass because where they had the sheep, it was kept in a concrete basement. We were in Turkey for about a month, and it was towards the end of our trip. So every morning I'd run down and I'd cuddle the sheep and I'd connect with the sheep. And I was so excited this one day that we actually got the sheep out onto the grass and into the sun, I was so happy. It was like the sheep it's like it was set free for a day before it was killed. It was like this. It was like from freedom to fear and now back to freedom again. Back to freedom now many years later. But at the time, it was from freedom to fear, actually.
Yeah. No, that's so beautiful. Yeah, so let's put that in there too then. So maybe I'm thinking we'll do this in a third person for this one. Because we can look at this memory. So we'll say little white dress, little white sheep, sunny day, green grass, feeling peace. Locked in we said a basement?
It was locked in a basement at my grandma's place. In Iskenderun, a place called Iskenderun in Turkey. It was, and it's actually the first time I'd ever been to Turkey. My parents grew up there. They couldn't wait to get out of there because they were Christians in a Muslim country, and they had a hell of a time there. They just were never accepted, and Dad wasn't given jobs because of his Christian background and things like that. It was really, and of course I've got Muslim friends, and I'm not saying, there's some lovely Muslim people out there. I think the fanaticism is a whole other issue. However, and I respect everyone no matter what their religious beliefs. Although I do love the Christian principles, and I love there's something in the Bible says, do everything in love. Do everything in love. 1 Corinthians 16:14, do everything in love. And when you look deeper into that, it says love here online. It says it's not merely an emotion, but a deliberate choice to act with patience, kindness, humility, and forgiveness, even in challenging circumstances. Patience, kindness, humility, and forgiveness, like Jesus was on the cross when he said, forgive them, they know not what they do. I've come to that place now, but at the time, no one could have changed my thoughts in wanting to save that sheep.
Yeah.
No matter what I said, right? That was my friend, the sheep. And what I saw in front of me was a bloodbath.
Ooh, let's make that a line. Sacrifice for prosperity, a bloodbath for me.
Yeah.
Prosperity, a bloodbath for me. Now,
can you guys hear lawnmowers going off? We've got lawnmowers going on. You can't.
I don't hear anything.
Okay. Well, being a live stream, it's funny. Yeah, there's like whippersnippers and lawn like suddenly that have come out right during the live stream. So that's right. If you can't hear it, that's great.
Oh no, yeah, I can hear it. Okay, so for the chorus, I'm thinking our first line is, I just want to save the sheep. I don't want to feel, let me see.
So sad. That's so sad.
Yeah.
No, I think we need a stronger word than sad. It needs to be something a little bit more,
so
deeper.
Angry, maybe.
We'll say I feel hatred and weep, because weep rhymes with sheep.
I feel hatred. Yep.
I feel hatred and despair.
Weep goes with sheep, though. Is it?
Oh yeah, that's correct. That's correct. Yeah. I'm just kind of trying to get a deeper word in there, but yeah.
Let's see. Lock everything. Okay, so we'll do. We'll say now I
deep. So despair so deep. It could be despair so deep as well. Weep that led to the weep. Deep and weep. It was very deep, that's for sure. I definitely felt the depth of it.
Yeah.
Caught up in disparity and weeping. Ooh.
This is very cool. This is a live workshop, guys. I hope you're doing this at home for yourself. I love the steps that Courtney's taking us through here. This is really cool. This would be great for me. I think it's going to be very healing to do this song.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. Okay, so let's do, I just want to save the sheep. I'm going to say, but I feel hatred and weep.
Well, I wanted to save the sheep. I wanted to, because at that point, I wanted to save the sheep, but I feel hatred and weep, because the hatred and weep came after they killed it.
Yeah.
I so wanted to save the sheep. My friend, the sheep. Something like that could go in. My friend, the sheep.
Ooh.
But all I can do is...
Can we say my innocence taken from me?
My innocence taken from... All I could do is weep. My innocence taken from me. Yeah. The joy replaced with tears or something like that. And anger. The joy replaced with the joy and laughter, because we were literally laughing. I was walking with the sheep. We were laughing. And, I was like, because they put me onto, someone grabbed me and put me on the back of the sheep. And I was riding the sheep. I was like, oh, this is, this is different. Like I couldn't really control it because someone put me on the sheep and I didn't want to fall off. So I kind of hung on,
Yeah.
And then
I think we just repeat that. Maybe let's repeat that, because I feel like that's like the core of this is like, yeah. I think it's beautiful. Okay, so second verse, we're going to get into now your thoughts and feelings of today now, or how you felt back then too. I think either one, whichever direction you want to go.
So what have we got so far?
So far we got little white dress, little white sheep, sunny day, green grass, feeling peace, locked in a basement, but on his last day, the little girl showed him love and they played. Then it says, this is like the pre-chorus. I don't usually do pre-choruses, but I feel like this is like an intense song. So 3 men ripped the sheep for me, sacrifice for prosperity, a bloodbath for me. And then we'll get into the chorus. I just want to save the sheep, but I feel hatred and weep, my innocence taken from me. And then we repeat that. So now we're getting into the second chorus, or the second verse. And we only have one verse to do, and then we're going to put it into AI. So
amazing. I would just change. There's one little tweak I'd make, because it wasn't it was a little white. Was a little white one again? Little white No, well, it was a big white sheep. I'll just make that a big white sheep. It was a big
Oh,
white.
yeah.
The sheep came up to my shoulders, kind of thing. Like I was so little, the sheep was almost the size of me.
Yeah, we'll do that. Little white dress, big white sheep. Yeah, we can change that.
Little white dress. Yeah.
And then we'll say, here we go.
And into I don't know if it's a he or a she, but into its eyes, I look so deep. Something like that. Into its eyes, I look, because I used to connect with the sheep through the eyes. I used to just, into its eyes, I'd look so deep and admire the beauty of the sheep, or something like that.
Admire the beauty of what I see. Yes, it's either see or sheep, but I like the word see instead.
Yeah.
Can you repeat that for me? Sorry.
Into its eyes, I look so deep and admire the beauty of the sheep.
Admire the beauty that I see. Yeah.
Beauty that I see, or the beauty that I see, even. Yeah.
I like that better. Yeah.
Yeah, because we've already said it's a sheep, haven't we? We've already said it's a sheep.
Yeah.
Actually, I think that would be nice if we put sheep at the end, because then we won't repeat the lines. So you said, I just want to, you said, and admire the beauty of the sheep, because then it will come full circle on that chorus. We won't repeat the thing. Okay.
Into its admire the beauty that I see. I think we said the beauty that I see.
I think she wants to use the word sheep again there. So.
Yeah, if you use sheep again, that's fine. Yeah, I'm happy with
the sheep.
I'm just throwing thoughts as I think them. So I mean, you take them or leave them or whatever. Yeah.
Oh yeah, no, this is good. Okay, so now we're on to our second chorus, which is like what we kind of more thought and felt. So we set up the story of like kind of what happened. Now we're going to go into like more the emotional side. So I think I want to keep that line, if you're comfortable with that, says, I wanted to kill myself that day. You're okay with saying that? I wanted to kill myself.
My innocence ended that day. My innocence ended that day.
Oh, okay.
She's got that.
We do have that in the chorus.
I felt that I died. I felt that I died. Something like that. I felt that I died with the sheep.
Okay, yeah, let's do that. I felt that I died with the sheep.
Oh, that's even darker. Wow.
Yeah, this is what happened. I felt that I cried and cried and cried. I remember being hunched over on the curb on the side of the road, as far away from the people as I could get, and I cried and cried and cried until it almost got dark, and then they brought me back. They just left me be because I was in such a mess.
Use that hunched over statement.
Yeah,
I was hunched over.
I had my head in my hands, and I cried uncontrollably until I could cry no more. That's a strong line. I cried uncontrollably until I could cry no more.
Okay.
I couldn't believe.
Can you say that one more time? Sorry.
Cried uncontrollably until I could cry no more. I cried uncontrollably until I could cry no more. I could not believe what had just been in store. I could not believe what had.
Look at Aldwyn rhyming.
This is my journalistic background now. I'm coming out with some words. I could not believe what was just in store, or what I just saw. I could not believe what I just saw.
Do you realize when I first started writing songs, it frustrated the heck out of me that I couldn't rhyme? It was actually something I had to work at time after time after time again, and then I finally got it. And now, like, it's hard for me to write a song that doesn't rhyme.
Wow. Very cool. And this is the thing, this is just a first draft, right? We can keep tweaking and tweaking.
Right?
Tweaking.
Oh, yeah,
yeah, you can, but we're not going to. So, because a lot of people filter, and honestly, that's kind of the problem, is when you filter, you don't get the real good song. So, no, we're not. But you can on your own time.
We're not rewriting it.
This is coming really well.
Yeah, I felt that I died with the sheep. I felt that I died with the sheep. I got as far as I could get.
I felt that I died with the sheep.
So say I got as far as I could get from.
I ran away.
My family.
I ran away as far as I could.
This is like word slang, but I got as far as I could from the peeps. I don't know if you want to use that word, but it rhymes.
from the family. Well, it's from the family. I ran away as far as I could from the people I trusted the most, because it was.
But that doesn't rhyme.
Well, that's okay. They don't have to rhyme. I got as far as I could from the people.
I ran away as far as I could from the people I trusted the most.
Okay, yeah. So I ran away as far as I could from the people I
trusted the most.
I couldn't, and then we'll say I couldn't believe what I just saw. Okay, so we got our song. Oh wait, I couldn't believe what I just saw. We're gonna end one because I think you said this, and I think I hate the
world. I hate the family. I hate all men. I hated everyone. I hated everyone and everything. And I didn't want to be here. I didn't want to live anymore.
Okay. I got our song. So I'm going to put this into Suno here. While I do that, it's going to take 30 seconds, but I got to copy and paste it into Suno. So if you want to, while I'm pulling it up, what genres do you like? Or what genre are you feeling for this?
I like the deep, dark blues music like Nina Simone, that.
Ooh, I'm thinking, blues. That would be an interesting bluesy kind of thing.
Blues to it. Yeah, because it's a really deep blues.
It's a soul type of thing. That would be perfect.
It's a deep, deep, dark, bluesy soul. I mean, it'd be nice to have a happy ending to the song, to talk about the animal action events or something something like that. It's now, that's awareness, appreciation, respect for all animals. World's first Animal Action Day came from it, or sort of came. I see that as a legacy for the sheep, as well as so many charities now. So I've turned my pain into purpose. My pain.
We can do that for the outro. And I do feel like your chorus has that kind of sentiment too, of like, I just want to save the sheep. Chorus. Let me copy and paste this real quick. Okay.
I just want to save the sheep. Yeah.
We'll put that as definitely something, and we can do like a little verse 3 on there for you.
I just got another line. I just want peace, not pain. I want peace, not pain. All I feel is pain. Because the peace thing with the white, like it's like the white dove analogy, and it's like the sacrifice and I guess like they say, one door closes, another opens. It's the yin yang of light, the dark and the light, the hate and the love, the joy and the sadness. Like it's and then the blood cross is interesting too. The blood cross on the forehead.
That's in there. 30 years later. Because we put
I'm excited to hear this in song.
Yeah, me too. The blood cross on the forehead. I'm just looking up. Okay, the symbol for that is about mortality and penance for sins. So it symbolizes with the blood cross is a repentance. It's about faith and repentance from our sins. Wow.
Interesting.
And it obviously symbolizes Jesus dying on the cross as well.
Okay, so we'll put in the outro because I mentioned it, but not like marked by the cross. So we'll put marked by a blood cross for you said it was for actually sin. So should we say for sins I had, because you were 6, so you didn't really have sin. So for sins I did not own.
No, sins I did not. Yeah, sins I did not own.
30 years later.
And faith, see, it's the sins and the faith, because it talks about the faith as well with the cross, and it was an act of faith, and it was actually an act of generosity, because they fed the poor people in the village with the food. All the meat fed so many people, So where there was death, there was also life-giving nutrients for people as well. So it was like, it was death brings life, I guess.
Yeah.
The death brought new life in some ways.
10 years later, saving animal lives, I favor.
Let's see. Okay.
That's nice. That's nice, Ken. I like that.
I don't know. Courtney heard it. Did you hear it?
What can you say one more time?
10 years later,
saving animal lives I favor, I think you said.
Thank you.
Yeah. Both of our ADHD.
I'm like, dang it, I lost it.
Okay. Yes. Very cool.
Now, for those 10 years later, I'm saving animal lives I favor. Saving animal lives I favor. Yeah.
I like that. For those who've joined us right now on Facebook, LinkedIn, and YouTube, what we're doing right now, Courtney is writing a song using AI. She's using the AI app Suno. She's just run off. I'll just take her off screen for a second until she comes back. And we've just been brainstorming. She said, what is a memory that you keep thinking? What is a memory from your past that you keep thinking? And so I shared about how I saw a sheep sacrificed in Turkey when I was 6 years of age, and how that's led to the work I do for animals now. And she's turning it into a song. We've just written the lyrics all together. We've just come up with the lyrics, and she's now popping that into Suno. Is that right, Courtney? Is this the process to AI and to Suno? So
this is incredible. You're going to love this, Aldwyn. You're going to love this part.
Can't wait. I am blown away how good AI is now. I'm as much as I love authenticity, etc. I think as long as you say it's an AI content on your socials, I think it's okay. I think you need to be transparent about it, because I must say it kind of annoys me when I think something is real and then I find out it's AI. I kind of get a bit annoyed and I feel a little bit deceived. But if someone has actually said it's AI, then I'll look at it and go, oh, isn't that interesting? Isn't that cool what AI has just popped out, you know?
Yeah, and it is about that, because it's ultimately, it's like we can use it to speed up a process, because we could have spent like hours of me going on the piano and like playing your song. But now we get to write the lyrics, you get to process your pain, and now we got the song. So I'm going to play it for you.
Oh, here we go.
Oh, here we go.
Can you hear that well?
Love it.
Thank you.
Little white dress, big white sheet. Sunny day, green grass, feeling peace. Locked in a basement, but on his last day, the little girl showed him love and they played. 3 men ripped the sheet from me. Sacrifice for prosperity, the bloodbath for me. I just want to save the sheep, but I feel hatred and weep. My innocence taken from me. Into its eyes I look so deep and admire the beauty of the sheep. I felt that I died with the sheep. I ran away as far as I could from the people I trusted the most. I could not believe what I just saw. I hate the world, I want peace, but I've got pain. I just want to save the sheep, but I feel hatred and weep. My innocence taken from me. Into its eyes I look so deep and admire the beauty the sheet, marked by a blood cross for sins I did not own. 30 years later, where there was death, I see life. Saving animals and my purpose in life.
Oh my gosh.
Wow.
Oh
That
my
is
god.
freaking powerful.
Yeah, I know. I was trying not to cry, man.
Wow.
Putting that in the blues was perfect.
Oh my gosh, that was so powerful. Wow. That was like a cathartic healing experience. Like, wow. Oh my gosh. I'm speechless. That was so good.
And
So,
what I recommend too, because I mean, this is a hard memory, and I'm going to give you this song after this. I would just keep listening to this over and over, and I'll send you because I know you sing, the karaoke track too, so you can sing it with you. Get that.
You didn't do that for me.
I'll send yours too.
thank you so much. Wow.
But the trauma out, like you singing it too. Yeah, it's hard because what you experienced, I experienced growing up too. And until you actually do this, you can't know how it heals you.
It was so good. Oh my god, it was so good. I mean, so like the music was so good. I mean, not the experience, but you know, oh my gosh, to be able to express it, because I shut that memory down for 30 years, you know, and after 30 years, I called my dad on the phone. It was part of this landmark forum that I did. And on the Sunday of the landmark forum, they said, you know, something happens in life, you make it mean something. You know, they were saying something happens, you make it mean something. And it's usually up to the age of 7. And I'm sitting there in this class thinking, what happened up to the age of 7? And I totally blocked that memory out. And then it came to me. And I went, oh my God, the sheep thing. 30 years later, I called my dad and I said, Dad, I've hated you ever since that, because you held me back from saving that sheep. And for the first time in 30 years, he apologized. He said, I'm so sorry. I had no idea that you would react like that. He said, in Turkey, that happens all the time. He had no idea that I would be affected like that and impacted like that. And he apologized And from that moment, I got my dad back. After 30 years. We had such a strained relationship. He kicked me out of home at 15 and said I wasn't his daughter anymore. We had such a strained relationship. We were headbutting for years after that happened. Right? And I got my dad. Now he's 88. He's had 4 heart attacks, prostate cancer, diabetes, and we are so close. He's like my best friend. You know, we're so close now. So this is the thing, you know, having the music to be able to express that. I would love to play that for him. I'm so excited. I can't wait to play that song for him. And let's see if he does, because Dad doesn't cry normally. He's shut down his tears for many years because he was always taught to be strong, etc. And I've almost seen now in his later years, almost a tear. Let's see if that song brings him to tears.
And if it doesn't, I mean, what you're saying right now is like a whole other song of 30 years of strained relationship. And what we're talking about right now, like that second song, because that's what I mean, music, it connects us. And it's sometimes we're able to say the things that it takes us 30 years to say, you know. For me, when my dad went back to prison, I wrote a song called Hurricane about like how I was so mad. And I had a strained relationship with him. He's no longer here anymore. But I wouldn't have been able to say that unless I sang that out. And like, I think that's what we've lost, is it's uncomfortable to have those conversations. But when we sing it, and like you can say like, I'm going to show him this song. It's so much easier to show him what you feel versus like have this sit down talk conversation that's so hard. But it's so beautiful though that he did apologize. And I mean that's tough, like culturally, I've never heard of it, but I'm sure that is such a normal thing. But if you're not exposed to it, it's I never saw that at 6, you know.
Ooh, maybe her second song you can do with her when she comes on your show.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, this is so good, Courtney. Oh my gosh, I want to learn all about this. This is amazing. Oh my gosh, as a healing tool, I mean, it's not just rewiring your brain. I feel like you've just been rewiring my soul. Like, this is intense, you know, and thank goodness for this AI tool. I mean, who would have ever thought? I know there's some of my friends are like, AI is evil. AI, no, AI is, and look, I do have concerns about AI dumbing
me
people.
too.
I do have serious concerns about people's critical thinking going out the window.
Yeah, me too.
I do have concerns about that. I do have concerns about our creativity in some ways going out the window too. I was just at a conference in Sydney and I saw quite a few speakers and I could tell that their slides were done with Gamma, with the AI tool.
Yeah, you can tell.
Right? And it's like all these slide presentations are looking the freaking same. Where's our individuality gone, you know? So that's
95 to 98% of the frameworks and slides that I have in my program, 95 to 98% of them are all me created.
Yes. It may take longer, but you can tell. You can, and then there's people putting these flyers together for their programs. They all look the friggin' same as well. There's all flyers that look, it's like that's another layer. And I mean, okay, it does do a good job of some of it, but it's looking so vanilla. Everything's looking so vanilla. Like it's like we're turning into nums. Even more num.
And that's where it's like I agree with you, because it's like you can use it for good or you can use it for bad. Like in this case, it's like that was human written. That's your emotion. And one day, I mean, I'm kind of trying to bait and switch people. I actually really do want people to go and play piano and guitar with their songs, but I know the mass public is not going to do that, and I'm not going to be able to help people get what you felt without using AI. But I get so much hate. Like if you see my Instagram, I am you have no idea. I get called crazy stuff, but and in my DMs, about the AI stuff. But at the bottom of it, it's fear. Like people are scared, and it's unfortunate. We don't get to choose what's happening in our life. So we can choose to use it for good, or we can choose to use it for bad.
Well, I'm blown away how quickly that was done. I think you did that in half an hour. How quickly you did that and how powerful that was in such a short amount of time. You extracted that gold, you put it into words with the help of AI, and you turned it into...
that AI didn't write the words at all.
Oh, AI didn't write any words.
Courtney wrote the words. AI did the music for her. Courtney wrote the words herself. That's Courtney's own talent.
Oh, yeah. Sorry. I'm sorry. I guess I was typing on my notes app so I could just copy and paste it. So yeah, those are all human written, and technically they're written by you. I was just kind of supporting, because here's the thing. Almost everything that we wrote in those lyrics, you said in your processing. So you said little white dress. That was line 1. You said big white sheep. So everything that we pulled, it sounds better because we put music to it. But like literally that was all your words. You technically wrote it. I just kind of scribed for you. So actually it was human written by you.
I would make that distinction in your content, because I'll bet you that might make a difference, because I'll bet you people may be assuming that AI is also writing the music.
Probably.
Yeah, so I would make that distinction in your creative stuff that, hey, the music lyrics that you hear, those are written by me personally. AI just helps assist with the music part of it.
That's true. So, and with my own music personally, like what I do is because I'm a singer, I sing into Suno, and I actually create the melodies for most of my songs too.
That's cool.
So what I do, like there's this one song, it's called Redbird, and it's about like, I have 303. So my brain, right? And I was just singing at the dishes, and I sang a song of like, I hear a redbird calling, and I sang it into Suno, and I got a backing track for me to go then sing that song.
Oh, wow.
That's cool.
My lyrics, and because I have 3 kids, don't have time to go sit at a piano for 4 hours and, hammer out everything. I just have my voice, and I'm washing dishes, and I'm still able to access music. I'm not trying to make it a hit, but I'm, honestly, it's a pretty good song. I'm not gonna sing the whole thing because I don't want anyone taking my song. But like seriously, like that's the way that you can use it too, of like you can sing these lyrics out. And in my book, that's what I really teach people, is to actually speak to sing it. So really it's human written melody, human written lyrics, and Suno is just creating the track.
Right. Got you.
But for this, it created the melody because, time.
And what, like, it sounds like you're such an amazing singer in your own right. What made you go to Suno in the first place?
Well, a couple reasons. So I got burned out because I almost went and got a record deal when I was in my early 20s, and I quit music. It's actually a pride thing. So God really told me that he wanted me to do this, and it's attacked my pride because I am a singer, and it is kind of embarrassing to like use this when I know I could have sang your song. Because in the psych hospitals, I improvised all the songs. I brought my guitar and I would improvise them. So it does like kind of attack my pride a little bit. But I care more that that you can go do this at your house without me than I care about whether you know how good of a singer I am or not. And so that's kind of where my reasoning is like, I want people to know that there's an access point, even though it's honestly kind of humiliating for me in some ways. But I've seen that, like I've had people now come to me who are now wanting to learn instruments because now they had that access point. And they wouldn't have had that if I was on Instagram just singing all my songs, they'd be like, oh, of course she can do music and she's talking about music because she's a great singer. They don't get to see that. It was so encouraged in my family. My grandma had me in voice lessons since I was 11 because she saw the gift. And so it's not fair for me to then tell people, oh, music can heal you. Let me show you how great I am, So that's why. And another reason is I have very limited time. I have a 1.5-year-old, a 2.5-year-old, and a 4-year-old. And I love to sing and then create the backing tracks because I'm not a good mixer. I suck at mixing and mastering music. So now I can take those tracks and I can sing them, at a local place, and they're still my voice. It's the same thing as like these sample beats. People don't want to talk about that, but
that's a good point. Yeah. What about the synth beats and all this other stuff? Because a lot of people use synth music now.
Well,
that's a really good point.
They don't want to admit this because it's embarrassing, but they are using it in Nashville. I was literally at a conference last October, and the 2 head songwriters were talking about how they use it for their demo tracks. So just because they're lying to everybody, I'm not going to lie to you, but I'm going to use it also. That's how they're getting ahead. If you can output 50 songs and get the right genre without having to hire a ton of musicians to get each genre for a demo track, why would you not use it? They're 100%. They're not, it's not even a speculation. They said they're using it. Even the head of people are so mad about this, but it's the truth. What people are really afraid of is that they're not good enough to compete. And that's the wrong angle to look at it. It's more of how can you, I see it as, let's bring live music back.
It's the same thing as so I use GarageBand to create a lot of my music stuff. And I use GarageBand because it's a free app on the Apple computer, but it's highly functional. But GarageBand has pre-made drum tracks. How different is using a pre-made drum track than using AI in that way? Now, I don't go to AI and have AI write my lyrics for me. That is something that I'm kind of no, I don't think so, because that takes away my creativity. I want to be able to write those lyrics. I want to hear my own heart in that. Yeah. But I've used pre-made drum tracks before. I also have a little drum pad machine here that I can make my own drum thing with. But yeah, I mean, where's the difference?
Yeah, people make arguments, but I mean, I actually had a long DM conversation with somebody about this, and he was like, you don't know what you're talking about. You don't make music. I was like, actually, I do. And at the core of it, he admitted he's scared that he's not going to have an opportunity to be a musician. And so it's all behind this hate of this fear of uncertainty. And I told him, I was like, look, one of my cousins, he's a full-time musician. He's not famous, but he makes a living for himself playing local music. That's the new era that's coming, because people are going to be tired of recorded music. I use recorded music to be findable on social media, but you're not going to see me using recorded music in person. I'm going to sing that. And you're going to when like, even you can't even hear people's voices over this, but when you hear me out there, you're going to be happy that I don't sound like the recording. It's going to be better than what you heard. And I told him all that, and he was like, oh, this makes so much sense. And he's like, well, can you admit that AI is hurting the planet? And I was like, of course, but we can't control that. Like there's very little control that we can do. I was like, it's going to take over, we're in Armageddon times, but what can we do right now to just help ourselves?
Yes, totally. It's interesting because I'm a professional photojournalist, and I started photography back in the film photography days, for anyone who's old enough to remember the film photography days. And you had to know, exactly how to take a photo, and we developed in the dark room, and, you have to wait until after the development was done until you could see the actual photos. And I remember when digital photography started, I was like, what is this digital photography? And remember in the early days, remember the delay in digital where you take a shot and then you'd miss the shot because it'd take a second for the actual shot to actually take. And then I remember in the early days of digital photography, I was like, it's never going to be as good as film photography. The skin tones are out, and and now look at it. Right now, look at digital photography. Does anyone still use film cameras anymore?
Now we've got this. Everybody takes photos with their phone, and the phone's just as good as a digital camera.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And it's like nothing's all good or all bad. It's like there's good and bad in each thing. And
yes,
that's what we have to focus on, is like, okay, how can we make good of the things we can't control?
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, perfectly goes to your sheep thing. You can't control that people are sacrificing sheep, but you can create activism and awareness. And that brings even for the people who hate AI, I don't care if you hate AI. Don't DM me about how much you hate it and how terrible of a person I am. Go become an activist and stop these data centers from coming up. If that's what you really care about, use the energy of hate on people who don't have, the problem or solution, and go do something. Become an activist.
Yes, love that. Actually, there's a lady I know called Sarah Jade, and I interviewed her she does Oracle deck cards. And a friend of mine, Dana, she's got I don't actually have any here with me, but she does Oracle deck cards, creating beautiful images using AI. So she puts a bit of similar to this, like she puts some of her own creativity in, and then she puts it into AI, and it just takes it next level. And she's got this Oracle deck cards, like there's one called Gratitude Codes and so many others, and she talks about the creativity in AI, that you bring your creativity to it and then it just can take things a whole other level. I mean, there's no way I could sing like that AI just sang there and do that music myself. Well, not that there's no way, but it'd take me a lot of work to get to that, to be that good, right? I mean, that just sounded extraordinary what you put together. Absolutely.
And you wrote the lyrics, which is incredible. Like those were you.
Yeah. And oh my gosh, the tears, the feeling, like I can't wait to listen to it again. And I'm going to share that all over my socials and tag you and thank you, Courtney, because that was extraordinary. And what a cathartic healing experience. I guess when people are willing to write about some of their deepest pain, how we can turn our pain into purpose, how we can turn our mess into message, right? I do believe everything happens for us, not to us. There's a reason that we go through the experiences we go through in life. There's a reason that I do so much work around good news now, because I've had depression. I've had 4 friends kill themselves. There's a reason I've had these experiences. And as much as they're really hard to go through some of these experiences at the time, I think if you can look at the darkness in your life and look at what is the light that is in the darkness, the stars shine brightest in a dark sky. It's like we need the light and we need the dark in life. It's the yin yang of life. Whether we, of course, it's a much better experience to feel joyful than it is to feel hatred and anger and sadness. However, I don't think we'd fully appreciate the joy and the happiness if we didn't have the sadness and the dark times as well. So I think it's about embracing all of it in life and looking for, when you do have those low times in life, what are the learnings here?
Oh yeah, no, I completely agree. And it's how we all live life. Like we all go through hardships. Not everybody's gonna have these huge traumas, but everybody has these little traumas that add up even just throughout the day. And it's like if you have a way to process it like we used to, people used to go around the campfire, sing about their days, play their instruments, and we don't do that. And like it's weird to do that now with people. People don't want to do that. But that's what fuels us, is that connection of like, I feel so connected to you now, hearing that story. And you never would have told me that ever had we not done this.
Well, I may have told you the story, but it wouldn't have been the same. Wouldn't have that detail. I haven't ever shared to that detail actually, because we've had time to really dig deep into the whole scenario. So I, in fact, have never shared to that detail with this story.
That makes it all the better. Oh my goodness, that was just so good, and I just love the fact. I love the fact that you chose blues for that. That was just. When that came on, I was like, "Oh, I feel that." Oh,
yeah, I want to go sing that song.
Interesting. Elvis used to love the blues, right? The African American blues, right? Elvis, the king of rock and roll. He love all that. I mean, some of my favorite singers of all time are African American. You know, I love they're so good with their rhythm and and beautiful. You know, Louis Armstrong, "What a Wonderful World." That is one of my favorite songs. What a Wonderful World. You know, it's and it really is a wonderful world. I was walking on the beach this morning and I was picking up all these shells and I came across a lady that was walking a dog, and she said, wouldn't it be nice to just, admire the shells on the beach? I said, well, I'm admiring. I said, it is a beautiful world. I said, it's a shame about our politicians, but I said, it actually is a beautiful world if we, just stop and look at the sunrise and look at the animals and look at, really, it is a beautiful world. It's just unfortunate that certain humans are psychopaths and sociopaths that are doing their best to ruin it. However, we've also got some amazing people on the planet doing extraordinary things. So what we focus on will grow, right?
Yes, it's so true. And it's funny you brought that up too, the wonderful world, because if you think about it, that song is I see and I say to myself, he's saying exactly, he's showing you what he sees visually in the world, what he saw with his 5 senses, and then what he thought and felt about it. Like that's how every best songwriter actually writes.
Yes. Yes, so true. I see trees of green, red roses too. I see them bloom for me and you. And I think to myself, what a wonderful world. Louis Armstrong, bloody legend. And in fact, Herb Armstrong, his grandson, performed at one of our Animal Action events here on the Gold Coast. So there you go. Look at the link with the What a Wonderful World.
Time reality, guys. We need to wrap up.
Yes. Oh my God, this is now, how can people connect with you now? So you take people through classes. Let us know what you do. How can we connect?
Yeah, so I have a school community where we do workshops weekly and open mics, and I have it's a free 7-day trial, but I also have the YouTube free. You can go to school.com/one-day-songwriter. It's also on my main website, the link to it. And if you want more of like the research side, the book Exercise for the Soul, I go break down the method and then also the research behind each part of it, of somatic songwriting.
Beautiful. And go to CourtneySchawl.com as well. And for those on the audio, because this will be put onto Spotify as well. So that will be CourtneySchawl.com. CourtneySchawl.com as well. They'll find a link to that there, will they, off your website?
Yeah. And you can find everything there. The book and the school community is all there. So
beautiful. And what's a favorite quote or motto you'd like to share with us today?
I would say that everyone is meant to make music, so go make it.
Nice.
Heck yeah.
Nice. I love it. Thank you so much, Courtney. And Ken, how can people connect with you, my friend?
Before I get into that, I'm going to beat you to the quote just because I found one and I'm just like, yeah, that's good. So this is by Daniel J. Levitin. Never heard of this guy, but music can change the brain because it changes the way we pay attention.
Oh, he wrote This Is Your Brain on Music. That's a good book.
Oh, well, cool. There we go. I've never heard of that guy. So I was just like, who's this?
He's a neurosurgeon, and he wrote I had to study that book in school. He's a good guy.
That's awesome. Yeah. So, okay. So, I've lost 62.5 pounds and I've kept it off for 7+ years now without a diet and having that be sustainable. And actually right now I'm giving away my 3 secrets to not only help you lose weight, but help you feel energized and get healthy without starving or dieting. In 3 one-on-one sessions with me live, I expose the 3 biggest lies that are keeping people sick, stuck, and overweight, because that's how that industry makes money. And I show them how they can fuel their body God's way and finally break free and keep the weight off for life, like I've been able to. And so the link to connect with me, get in my world, and get into my mini educational boot camp is www.masteryweightloss.com/connect. On that page, there are 4 buttons. The first button is a button to join my mini educational boot camp. The second one is, maybe you don't know if that boot camp is the right thing for you, and you're kind of wondering, okay, what would be the right thing? Well, that button is a strategy call. It's free. So let's get on a Zoom call. Let's have a chat. Let's unpack what your next steps could look like. The last 2 buttons, connect with me on Facebook, subscribe to my YouTube channel. And so that is how you can connect with me.
Yay. Thank you, Ken. And for those who want to connect with me, just hop along to linktree/Aldwyn. You'll find this link all over my socials, linktr.ee/Aldwyn. At the top there, I have my media website link, which will give you can download our top 5 tips to gain TV exposure, or to get on TV. You can do that there. And also we have the link to the Global Good News Challenge, which is free every single month. And you can share gratitude, good news. We share your videos out to thousands of people, free marketing for you. The whole idea is to help decrease depression and suicide rates and lift the energy on the planet. So I challenge you to do the Global Good News Challenge. And this month particularly, it is the 8th month. And what that means is even extra special this month. We have an 8-day challenge. And on the 8th of August, we have the 8th annual Good News Day on the 8th of August. And the Good News Day, actually, I started on the 8th of 8th, 2018, after my 4th friend suicided. I thought we need more good news out there. And I started the Good News Day. And here we are, the 8th year is happening in just 3 days' time here in Australia, 4 days for those in America, where it's still the 4th of August over there, 8th of August. So I encourage you to do your Global Good News Challenge during August, 8 days in a row, where you just share your name, what you do or like to do, 3 things you're grateful for, and a piece of good news. All the details are pinned to the top of the Global Good News Challenge Facebook page. Check it out. And all my other social links, let's stay connected on there. And my quote today, I found a really cool quote here. It is from Plato, and it says, "Music gives a soul to the universe, wings to the mind, flight to the imagination, and life to everything." I'll repeat that. Music gives a soul to the universe, wings to the mind, light to the imagination, and life to everything, from Plato. Thank you so much, everyone who's joined us live today. Any final words, Courtney or Ken?
I'm good. Thank you.
Thank you. This was an amazing show. In fact, I think it's probably my favorite show now, I think, because it was so personal to me. Thank you so much, Courtney, for doing that. What a phenomenal exercise. And I can't wait to join your school community and learn more about what you do. I absolutely love it. Sending love to everyone who's joining us right now, wherever you've joined us. If you're live or watching the replay, let us know what you thought. And if you end up doing this process with Courtney, please share your songs. I'd love to hear what you come up with. And now we will wrap up. And because it was such an awesome episode, I'm going to give all of us the clap here today. Yay! Well done. Well done. We'll see you again next time on Total Truth Show. Thank you so much. Thank you, Courtney. Thank you, Ken. See you soon.